Hi, my name is Joe Jacobson. I'm an associate professor here at the MIT Media Lab and have always been interested in science and technology. If folks are familiar with things like the Amazon Kindle, or really any of the ebooks that are on the market, almost every single ebook that's on the market uses our technology. This was a company that spun off from the Media Lab called E-Ink. It's got technology, screen technology, not just for the Amazon Kindle, but if you go look out on the subway system, all of the signage there, really anywhere you need a very, very low power display solution. The batteries can last for years on those price labels, for instance, or some of them are even solar powered, so they're indefinite in lifetime. This was one of the kind of very early prototypes where we were making displays by taking a printed circuit board and then coating with normal coating technologies this e-ink material. Since we now had something that could be put into machinery that normally coated normal inks, we now had a electronic ink that we could coat onto surfaces, and we really kind of leveraged that pretty heavily to be able to build displays like this one, where we'd have the electronics made by conventional flexible circuitry, and then the top surface was this electronically switchable display material called the e-ink. The original concept was, how would you build a book that had hundreds of pages in it that were each changeable? And the real goal was to have something that would have the same thinness, the same form factor as a book. And that really kind of bent the mind towards thinking about how would you build displays in a very different way. Not just make them thin, flexible, but you also had to figure out how to manufacture such a display so that they could be inexpensive enough so that you could have 100 of them in a single device. The first kind of eureka moment was when Europe student Barrett Comiskey, who ended up becoming my co-founder at E-Ink, came in after probably multiple all-nighters with the first working pixel, the first piece of flexible plastic. This was kind of our first product, and this was with one of the member companies of the Media Lab, Motorola, at the time, and they wanted to make a very, very low-cost cell phone for developing countries. And we built this cell phone based on basically being able to take a printed circuit board, coating electronic ink onto that circuit board, and then putting a couple of chips for the cell phone. And at the time, this was the lowest cost, thinnest, longest battery life cell phone. We sold 10 million of these in the first run, and really opened up markets like the Indian market that had never had cell phones on a consumer basis before. One of the most exciting moments, I think, was when I first kind of saw e-ink products in the wild. The memory I have is getting on a plane, on a flight somewhere, and seeing somebody sitting in a random seat with a Kindle screen, and I was like, yeah, that technology came out of the MIT Media Lab. That's pretty cool.